One of the things I hear a lot from parents who have young children is how big their feelings are and how they are quite hard to support them with sometimes, or how they feel it's hard to support them. And I think historically parenting approaches have dismissed children's feelings. They've expected them to manage their feelings when they don't actually have the ability to do so. So what can we do to support them? There's lots of things we can do to support children to cope with their feelings. The first thing we can do is help them identify what they actually are and make sense of them. So Dan Siegel and Tina Payne-Bryson coined the term name it to tame it. So the more children understand their feelings, the more they're able to manage it. A bit like us really, if we understand what's going on, we can find it easier to cope with. It's really important not to just dismiss feelings, even if they feel silly to us. We have to validate and normalise and name them. And that's one of the things I do in my stories. So for example, Stop That Now, I Don't Know How talks about big feelings, and it helps children and parents communicate on those feelings that might be trickier to discuss, like anger. We can also play with our children to help them understand what's going on and find ways to cope with them. So that's one thing, name to tame, talk to children, play with them. The other thing that's really important is model how to be calm. Easier said than done as parents, but if we get pulled into that emotional chaos, we're going to be much less effective in supporting our children. Of course it happens to us all at times, and I will talk about the importance of rupture and repair in a different reel, so you don't beat yourself up when you're not always calm, because you can't be. Another thing that's really important and makes it easier for us to connect with children when they are having big feelings, when they're showing them through unhelpful behaviours, is to try and put yourself in their shoes. This helps you understand what's driving their behaviour. It helps you discover together ways to support their development. If you're curious, you're less likely to be blaming and shaming of them. You can actually work out what's underlying, what's going on. Try to spend some time observing them, think about their internal world, remember it's different to yours, and try and avoid placing your own feelings onto them. Take a step back and just go, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? What's going on for them at the moment? And if you can't do it in the moment because it's emotional chaos and you're getting pulled in, think about it later. Ask yourself, what's it like to be my child? How are they experiencing the world? What is confusing for them and how can I help make it less confusing? Another thing that I don't like is time out. Because when you are using time out with children, you are teaching them that you are not going to be there to help when they're struggling. You're expecting them to calm down on their own when they haven't yet got the skills to do so. If you need some space, give yourself a time out. Time out is probably more for parents than it is for children. And think of it as a sensitive pause where you're resetting your response so you can be the best parent to your child in that moment of what feels like madness. And another key thing when your child is showing big feelings and it's all become a bit difficult, and you've had that disconnection, you've had that rupture, repair it. Go in and say, wow, that was tricky for both of us. I'm sorry I overreacted, I'm sorry I got angry, or I'm sorry I didn't see what you were trying to communicate. Take that repair as really important in your relationship. That's something I'm going to talk about in a bit more depth. If you want more tips about supporting children with big feelings and tricky behaviour, then there's lots on it in my handbook. Not lots, it's a small, concise handbook because there's not much time to read for parenting, but there's enough on it, hopefully, to explain the overarching theories. And there's a step-by-step diagram that helps you think about what you do actually in the moment, which I can't find.